9:12 here on your Wednesday. Thank you so much for staying with us. Looking ahead to this weekend at Renolda, guests have the chance to catch the national premiere of a historical documentary. It is called Landscapes of Exclusion. It looks at the history of segregated state parks during the Jim Crow era. After the screening, there will also be a panel discussion with the filmmaker and the author of the book that the documentary is based on. And that is who is joining us now, Dr. William O'Brien. He's the author of the book, Landscapes of Exclusion. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, I'm excited to speak more with you about this. First, my question is, what inspired your research into this subject?
Well, I've been studying the issues of race and environment for a pretty long time, and this particular topic I just stumbled upon by accident. I was doing some research in the Florida State Archives a pretty long time ago and ran across an article that alluded to the idea that there was a history of racial segregation in the park systems. And I hadn't really considered it. I mean, when you think about it, it's pretty obvious that the state parks came into being at the same time as the Jim Crow era was ongoing. But no one had written about it. And what was really inspiring to me was that this was a topic that really hadn't been considered by anyone. And I didn't find any other research in contemporary times about it. So, so this is really the first publication to address this particular issue of state parks and segregation.
Really good that you're able to dig into that and discover some new information. I'm wondering how that led you to North Carolina. I know that's going to be part of not only the book, but the documentary as well this weekend.
Well, North Carolina featured pretty large in the history. The book is about the South in general, and it looks at all the states of the region, and it accounts for the various parks that were constructed. The main feature of the Jim Crow system of parks was exclusion. So most parks were off limits altogether. North Carolina was an important part of that in the sense that there were actually 2 parks created for Black Americans during the Jim Crow era. But there were over a dozen parks overall in the state. So most of the parks have no Black access whatsoever.
Wow. What was the process of turning your book into a documentary like? And did you find challenges with that, or were you excited for this opportunity?
I was really excited for the opportunity. The director of the film, Ian Forster, did an amazing job, and it is just such a beautifully done film. I was able to get a sneak preview into it and to take a look at its finished product. And it's just amazing. I think people are really going to enjoy it. My part was really, basically lending my expertise to making sure the narration of the story went as it ought to, and also participate as a discussant in the film.
So the book is out. Again, we're just days away from this documentary premiere for the entire country happening here. What is something that you hope audiences are taking away from the different forms of media with this?
I mean, I think the story overall about the issue of landscape design, the history of Jim Crow in state parks is really a history of design, not only of park systems, but individual parks as well. And I think the surprise I felt when I first encountered this story back in the Florida archives is really surprising to many people who come across it. So seeing people's reactions to this untold story, really, of this history of Jim Crow state parks, I think is really, is compelling for a lot of people.
And I really think your book is almost coming to life with this documentary, being able to kind of see everything visually as well. So that's really exciting. And I think everyone will be really looking forward to catching that this weekend. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning, Dr. O'Brien. Again, for everybody at home, that documentary, Landscapes of Exclusion, will premiere 3 p.m. this Saturday at Renolda House. That is here in Winston-Salem on Renolda Road. The event is free with museum admission, so you do still have to pay there. To learn more, go to renolda.org/visit. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.